let's talk about last week. We did our show, and literally minutes after we finished recording, the Giants hired a general manager. Now, his name, phonetically, it looks like you would pronounce his name Putila, but from what I understand, it's patella, like the kneecap.
Okay. All
So
right.
Pete Putila from the Astros regime is coming on as a general manager. He was in the running when the Giants signed Scott Harris a few years ago. So they already had the file on him. And Zadie teased this in his end of the year meeting with the media by saying he's just going to or this should be done fairly quickly. So we should have known that was a hint. Like, yeah, it's somebody that we know and that we interviewed before and is on our radar. Now, this is a young dude. I think he's in his early 30s still. He's been in baseball for a while. The one thing that is kind of being swept under the rug is his participation, or not, according to him, of the Astros cheating scandal. Now, I think Giants media is kind of having fun with it by saying, oh, yeah, of course he wasn't involved in this thing. And I can't imagine that he wasn't, at least to a degree. Like, he's not like the mastermind, right? It's always been said that the players were kind of the mastermind.
Yeah.
But the fact that he would know nothing about this is kind of suspect to me, or as my 7-year-old stepdaughter says, sussy. A little sussy.
It's a little sus.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about him coming in? And what do you think about bringing someone from that Astros regime, cheating regime?
It's funny. So he was at the time of the cheating scandal. He was the director of player development.
Mm-hmm.
He oversaw major and minor league player development while assisting with the integration of scouting technology. He was before that, 2013, he was the baseball operations coordinator. And then he did data research and technology, integrated that into development, player development processes, again, across all the minor league levels.
Mm-hmm.
He also traveled with a major league team in 2014 and 15, conducting replay review. It's so hard to say, man. I have seen on Twitter, and I have heard the funny thing is Giants fans don't have a problem with it because if he was involved, he helped take a World Series ring away from the Dodgers. So not a huge problem. But was he involved? I don't know. Probably. I don't think he was involved. I
Right.
think I think he probably, his technology was being used. He may not have known what it was being used for, because it's not like he was sitting in the dugout and in the clubhouse day in and day out and knowing exactly what was going on with his technology. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Just slightly peeking through the fingers.
Yes.
I'm looking away, but I'm not looking away.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a problem with it. He was never even interviewed by Major League Baseball when it came to the scandal. They didn't even think that he was worthy enough of an interview to even bother with him. I think you have to look at the end product and who was using the technology, not who developed the technology. Just because you use a phone to rob a bank, you don't call Steve Jobs up and well, he's dead, but you don't call up Tim Cook and say, hey, they used your iPhone to rob a bank. It's not really the way it works. But I'm okay with the hire. I like the hire. I'm very excited about the hire. Because it kind of puts a little bit more emphasis on player development. He has said in interviews he's extremely proud of the Astros roster and the players that they took later in rounds. Remember, he also stole Yordan Alvarez from the Dodgers. He was part of that trade. And Farhan was part of that trade on the Dodgers side, ironically enough, but now they're working together. So no, I think it's good. You get somebody from the Dodgers and Farhan. You get somebody from the Astros and Patella, and then you take those minds and that whole organizational philosophy, meld it together, and I think you could have a really, really good thing down the line. We are going to miss Scott Harris, absolutely. I think looking at it, though, Scott Harris was a little bit more of the sounding board guy, probably more a bit of the you know, trades, pickups, roster development, deep 40-man roster. Yes, he knew the minor leagues, but they have a whole minor league division for that of scouts and technology and everything else. The Giants
Mhm.
do, and I really think Patel is going to help grow that. I think it's going to grow leaps and bounds, hopefully over the next couple of years. Are we going to have him long enough? Hopefully he doesn't, it isn't just here for 2 or 3 years and all of a sudden he's Zadie's role.
Next man up.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere else. So hopefully, so get him in there, get a bunch of good people underneath him so that if he does go somewhere else,
Yeah.
everybody else knows what to do and just kind of plug him in.
Yeah. I'm sure we will not, we won't see much until after the offseason. Then, hopefully we'll know a little bit of what his influence is. But I'll go back to what our good friend Roger Munter said. What I saw him on Twitter from the There Are Giants Substack. He made a comment to say, from what it seems like, Zadie and Harris kind of think the same way, and it'd be nice to bring in somebody who maybe thinks a little bit differently. Now, I don't know if that is Patella or not, but that is there is a possibility that he does, and that can bring a little bit more of a differing opinion into the room, and then maybe the Giants won't sign 75 guys into the 40-man roster.
Yeah, the roster turnover this year was a bit exhausting. That was tiring. I liked it at the start and last year too, and thought, he's finding gems and everything. But sometimes when that happens, you lose a Connor Joe in the mix, and you lose guys like that. But then making trades like you did, you end up with the JD Davis. You end up getting rid of Mauricio Dubon, but now he's celebrating and having a good time and moving on to the ALCS. It was tiring by the end of the season. So I hope to see that cut maybe in half this year, give some guys some more solid at bats and more time in San Francisco to let the fan base fall in love with some players. So that's what I think on that.